In thousands of communities across the country, residents are able to live in decent, affordable homes in neighborhoods they're proud to be a part of. That's thanks to the efforts of NeighborWorks America and its network of local organizations, which have been working for more than 3 decades to revitalize America's neighborhoods. But if it's well accepted today that distressed communities can be brought back to life, that was not the case in the 1960s, when many economists and sociologists were ready to write off America's older inner-city neighborhoods.
The financial industry had, in many respects, begun to redline urban neighborhoods, and obviously redlining meaning drawing a red line around these neighborhoods and saying that these were places that they were not going to invest their resources. A lot of these neighborhoods that were redlined were minority neighborhoods, were poor neighborhoods. The financial industry had decided that they were not good business investments. They were, in fact, risky neighborhoods.
And under the banner of urban renewal, many cities were bulldozing entire inner-city neighborhoods and moving their residents to public housing projects. But in Pittsburgh, a homemaker named Dorothy Mae Richardson was determined that this would not be the fate of her central North Side neighborhood.
Dorothy Richardson had this, what was considered crazy idea back then, that rather than knock the houses down, why don't we fix them up? And she basically put an organization together with residents, with the public sector and the private sector, to demonstrate that you can make it work. And what they did is they raised some money that most people thought would never be seen again to make loans to people who couldn't get bank financing to fix up their homes. The model was successful. People paid the loans back. Houses got fixed up.
I think what Dorothy did that was new was the willingness to work with lenders, with city officials, who some might have characterized as enemies, but Dorothy saw them as potential allies, and that each partner at the table could contribute something and gain from the participation.
In the early 1970s, meanwhile, community advocate Bill Whiteside had been helping savings and loan officials make safer loans in older urban neighborhoods. When the visionary Whiteside learned of the Pittsburgh Neighborhood Housing Services, he felt he had found a model worth replicating.
Their model was something that I could apply in other cities around the country. I was working with the Federal Home Loan Bank Board, first to find such breakthroughs, and second to begin to apply them in cities that were going downhill rapidly.
Soon, under the auspices of a newly created Urban Reinvestment Task Force, Whiteside and a small staff began spreading the neighborhood housing services concept across the country.
The neighborhood housing services really had a few central elements. There was always a partnership between residents, lenders, and city government. There was a small staff that did the day-to-day work of the organization, highly competent in training, lending, and construction. And there was always a revolving loan fund, a small pot of money that could be lent to individuals for a variety of purposes to repair their home or even secure a home.
What made the concept work was that loan terms were tailored to the applicant's ability to pay, and neighbors on the local NHS board helped screen loan applications.
And the banks would sit at the table on the loan committee and they'd say, "Oh, give that guy a break, make him the loan." And the residents would say, "No, I know that deadbeat. He's not going to get a loan from us until he does the following 3 things." So everybody's job was to keep each other honest, and I think that's what they did.
And soon the difference could be seen in neighborhoods from Hartford, Connecticut to Oakland, California.
They'd fix up their house, they would take care of code repairs, and suddenly it became important to them to plant a garden in front, to paint the window boxes, to do the cosmetic repairs that NHS wasn't necessarily helping them pay for, but that really demonstrated their solidified commitment and investment to the neighborhood.
With the Urban Reinvestment Task Force due to expire in 1978, Whiteside and other supporters were looking for a way to interest Congress in creating a permanent entity to mobilize local revitalization efforts. Mayors and bankers had been telling their congressional representatives of the impressive neighborhood transformations occurring in cities across America. But Whiteside decided members of Congress needed to see for themselves.
We had a secret weapon in influencing Congress, and it was our bus trips on weekends to Baltimore. One of the most effective things we could do to let members of Congress understand what our work was to get them on buses and take them to Baltimore, where we had a very solid NHS going, and they could smell the paint as we walked around the neighborhood. They could meet the residents and hear them enthuse about the quality of their new homes that they'd gotten through NHS's help.
So plenty of Ukrainian pastries, and it wouldn't be beyond the stretching the truth to say that there was also some libations at times.
Legislation to create a national organization to carry on the work of the Urban Reinvestment Task Force received the backing of powerful senators and representatives of both political parties. On October 31, 1978, the measure was signed into law, establishing the Neighborhood Reinvestment Corporation. Set up as a congressionally chartered nonprofit and funded by an annual appropriation, the organization was designed to be flexible and innovative in its approach. With support from Neighborhood Reinvestment, the network continued to grow, expanding into rural areas. As the local organizations gained confidence, they began to move beyond home repair and rehab to tackle thornier neighborhood problems.
What do you do with a 12-unit apartment building on the corner? What about those vacant lots down the street that used to have homes that could have homes again? What do you do about them? What do you do about that commercial store at the end of the street that used to be a vital, thriving business and now is a detriment to the neighborhood? As each of those challenges began to be identified, different organizations developed tools to tackle them. And our role at Neighborhood Reinvestment was to take those tools and spread them around, let others know about them.
One of the most ambitious initiatives of the 90s focused on expanding home ownership. The campaign ultimately put more than 125,000 families into homes, including high percentages of women and minorities.
Homeownership and that stake that you have in the ground, this plot of land is yours, results in residents who are very concerned about crime, about maintenance of their communities, about the potential for economic development. So many of these neighborhoods really benefited from the increase in home ownership.
As organizations scaled up to tackle more complex tasks, Neighborhood Reinvestment made high-quality training, technical assistance, and targeted funding the cornerstone of its operation. And to better align itself with its affiliates, which had been operating as the NeighborWorks network for more than a decade, in 2005, Neighborhood Reinvestment began doing business as NeighborWorks America. By 2008, the 30th anniversary of the organization's creation, NeighborWorks America was widely acknowledged as one of the foremost leaders in the community development field. Much of the organization's success can be credited to the unusual commitment of staff at all levels of the organization.
Folks are highly committed, mission-oriented folks who work here. Very competent, and as a result of that, we've been able to accomplish some pretty incredible things.
Today, NeighborWorks organizations are at work in nearly 4,500 communities across the country, generating more than $3.5 billion a year in direct neighborhood investment. Together, NeighborWorks America and its network are building our dream of a nation of vibrant communities all are proud to call home.
I think it's very inspiring to go to many of these neighborhoods around the country. You really find a group of leaders who have helped improve not only the physical and economic value of the community, but also the spiritual value by creating real places where families can live and thrive.
It's not possible to overrate the importance in our hundreds of neighborhoods of the stake that the homeowners there were given in their lives and in their homes. This didn't exist before. And all of us can take a lot of pride in the fact that the lowliest member of the neighborhood had had an opportunity to be heard. And we were able to mesh that with people with money and power.